Hello, I'm Edward Tarte, once a Catholic priest for 5 years in the 1960s, now an atheist, which means I find no credible evidence for the existence of any God. This is the 42nd in my series of weekly videos for friendlyatheist.com. Local Catholic priest Father TJ, with whom I, along with other atheists, have been dialoguing for several months, has a web page as part of his church's website. At his webpage, he posts audio recordings of sermons that he has given. Each sermon posting offers viewers and listeners the opportunity to leave a reply. So I left replies at a bunch of them. I would like for some of his parishioners to be aware of the ongoing dialogue. Here is his church's website, St. Mary Magdalene Catholic Church, Humble, Texas. Here it says, Father TJ has a website. There's his picture. I click on Father TJ's webpage and homilies. Homily means sermon. At his sermon, Seeing with the Eyes of Faith, I left this reply. I do not base my life, my view of reality, on faith. I base my life and view of reality on reason and evidence. I understand faith as not being based on evidence, and that is indeed the biblical understanding of faith, as in the alleged writings of Paul. Accordingly, I see reason and reliance on evidence as virtuous, and I see faith as not a virtue. This puts me in serious disagreement with most Christians who have been taught that faith is a good thing. At his sermon on the Sacrament of Holy Orders, which is ordination to the priesthood, I wrote this reply. In May 1963, Bishop John Morkowski placed his hands firmly on my head and conferred on me the Sacrament of Holy Orders. Looking back on that event and examining carefully its background and context, I find no credible evidence that that action by him gave me any special powers. Accordingly, for the past 45 years, since May 1968, 5 years after that imposition of hands, I have lived my life based on reason and evidence as a math teacher, completely convinced that I am simply an ordinary man with no powers associated with any supernatural being or any supernatural abilities. In response to his sermon, The Word of God Changes Us, I left this reply. I find no evidence whatsoever that the Bible was authored by any supernatural being. I find overwhelming evidence throughout the Bible that it was written by primitive men with no modern scientific knowledge, often violent, often ignorant, often sexist against women, often bigoted. I find some good things in the Bible, but they are mixed in with so many bad things that the Bible is of no value to me as a basis for my life or my view of reality. But these and my other replies to other sermons of his are subject to his approval in order for them to actually be posted, and as of now, that is very much up in the air. Here is what TJ wrote to me today in an email. I am very aware of all your written responses. I'm not sure how I want to proceed. I have that website which I maintain and pay for with my own money and edit it with my own time. The intention of my website is to help people of faith strengthen their relationships with God and give them hope in this often sad, hateful world. Using my website to continue the discussion with non-believers certainly does not fit into my intentions. In the last year, since we have been in dialogue, I have experienced an incredible amount of hatred and vitriol that non-believers harbor towards believers. I'm not talking about you, but of many of the followers of your website. I don't know if I want to open up my website to that kind of comments. I see my website as an extension of worship, just like it would not be appropriate for anyone to interrupt a worship service of any kind to shout out, Your God is an evil, immoral monster. I am struggling to see how it would be appropriate for someone to write the things you did on my website that is intended to share faith. I see my website as a place where those of us who share faith can worship our God freely without persecution from those who choose not to believe. I will continue to reflect on my choice to allow your posts, but I am leaning toward keeping my website as a place to promote faith and not to tear it down. I responded to TJ saying something like this: I see your point. What you say makes quite a bit of sense to me. It's your website and you have the right to handle it the way you see fit. But I can see another side also. Your Sunday Mass is a closed gathering. Down the street, Baptists have their Sunday worship in a closed environment, and they generally despise what you Catholics do. Further down the street, Mormons have their Sunday worship in another closed environment. They are convinced that they have the truth and that the rest of us are deluded. But the internet could be compared to a university, where the norm should be open exchange of ideas, including ideas that clash with one another. As you posted your sermons on the internet, you appropriately invited replies. In the spirit of the internet, it would be appropriate for you to include in your invitation even replies that disagree with you. That's what I emailed to TJ. TJ emailed me back thanking me and saying that in making his decision about whether to allow my replies, he will consider what I have said. To all of you, thank you for watching this video.